For 2025, Audi has gotten rid of the A4 sedan and has replaced it with the A5. Now, this is not the A5 Sportback. This is a four-door sedan-looking liftback version of the A5. Still coming with a 2-liter turbo and a 7-speed automatic transmission. What sort of fuel economy can you expect on the highway with all-wheel drive? Tonight we find out. Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. And tonight we've got the real-world highway fuel economy test on the 2025 Audi A5. In this test, I'm going to head out on the highway and do 50 miles out and 50 miles back, averaging 70 miles per hour, to get a realistic fuel economy number for this luxury compact sedan. But before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at it. Yes, all new for 2025, the Audi A5. I am curious how this is going to do on our fuel economy test because German sedans tend to do quite well at these higher speed settings. BMW 3 Series, notoriously fuel efficient. You do still have to put premium fuel in them, but you can save some money with that good gas mileage. So if you do want to see more on the A5, check the link below. We've got our full pros and cons review, as well as a dedicated review of the 20-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system. You can find that all linked below. Also, quick shout out to today's video sponsor, Lace Fit. You can see we got the Lace Fit liners working hard today. It's one of our rare rainy days in Southern California, and the Lace Fit liners are keeping our carpet dry. And as my shoes continue to get dirty standing out here, it's going to keep everything nicely collected in this tray. Now, it's not as aggressive of a tray as you might get in some of their other models, but you can still see it goes way up behind the pedals. Very important there. And the material is this nice 3D measured flexible TPU. So very nice to kind of get right into the crevices. See in the back, it's going well under the seats. It's got this nice siping to kind of keep slush and muck segregated there, and goes right up over the hump. So even if you had a child kind of sitting in the middle, it's going to protect your carpet. They also make a rear liner for the A5 to keep this big trunk area covered. Now, unfortunately, we don't have that here, but I can show you what it looks like on their website. It would fill in this space very nicely. So I highly recommend, whether you've got a new A5 or another vehicle, check out Lace Fit. Use the link below. I can get you 18% off a good set of liners for your car. So big shout out to Lace Fit for sponsoring this video. So why do we do this test? Well, the EPA's highway fuel economy test, which gives this A5 31 miles per gallon, that test only averages 48 miles per hour. We know there are plenty of people who do much higher speeds than that on a regular basis at steady state and would like to know what sort of numbers you can realistically expect here in the real world. So in order to test that out, I'm heading over to the gas station tonight when there's less traffic. I'm going to fill up, go out and do 100 miles, come back, fill up at the same pump using the same 3-click fueling method, and get a result. Now, a few things to note for today. Outside temperature, well, actually I'm not doing the test till later, so I don't really know what the temp will be, but I'll have it listed nicely here below. And I will also have the tire pressure set to their door placard tire pressure. Make sure we have that up as well. And we're going to run the climate control at 73 degrees auto. So without any further ado, let's head to the pump. We are all fueled up, put in just over 6 gallons of fuel into the A5. It says fueling detected. Would you like to reset your mileage now? Yes. I'd also like to reset this long-term memory. Do that over here, reset values with OK, hold. There we go, that's reset. Let's reset our GPS. Climate control is set at 73 auto, and we are ready to begin. We've got a few different drive modes here in the A5, balance, dynamic, and comfort. We're going to do this test in comfort, because I like to be comfortable on the highway. And we're going to head out over to the highway. Now, typically speaking, we're about half a mile away from the highway, and I think we're about the same today, but I had to use a different gas station than my typical one. The one I usually use was a Speedway, and it just recently got purchased, and it's now a Shell. But unfortunately, that doesn't seem to have made it nicer, because multiple pumps weren't working, and then my card wouldn't scan, and it just ended up being a whole fiasco. So 20 minutes later, here I'm at the pump down the road. So unfortunate that we're having to make this change, and I'm going to have to analyze the mileage very carefully because we won't be at our typical 100.3 miles. The other aspect is that it is raining, as it does not often do here in Southern California. And unfortunately, people in Southern California don't like to drive in the rain. So we are likely going to be experiencing traffic slowdowns. Now, fingers crossed, say a prayer that we can at least keep up about 70 miles per hour chilling in the left lanes. But I don't have my hopes up. So we're going to see what happens here. But it looks like we'll be on the highway here after just about 0.3 miles. All right, let's get it going. Now, the goal of this test isn't to hypermile. We're not trying to get the best possible fuel economy on this test, but rather a realistic figure. So in order to do that, we're getting up to highway speed here at a reasonable pace. I'm going to set the cruise control to a GPS indicated 71 miles per hour. That should allow us to average 70 over the whole test. Our way over to the left. Now, I will also fully concede that rain, especially coming down this hard, and water standing on the road is not conducive to optimal fuel economy. So, I hate to say it, but this will not be a direct apples to apples test compared to if we were running this car in the dry. So we are going to take that into consideration when we crunch our final numbers. And I would love to wait and do this test later on with less traffic, or less traffic and less rain. But this is the last night I have the car. It's been raining quite a bit already this week. So if you'll forgive me, I might do this. Yes, we are in the HOV lane. We are technically breaking the law, and I apologize to my fellow Californians on the highway around me, but this is for science, after all. Initial highway impressions, as well as the impressions that I've had on the highway with the A5 since getting it, remarkably refined on the highway. Very quiet, very good ride. Been very happy with that throughout my time with the car. Does look like 73 on the dash, just giving us 71 on the GPS, so a little bit higher there than you're actually going. But I'm going to change this ambient lighting color because blue is a little harsh on my eyes. Wonder if I can do that with voice. Hey Audi.
Hello.
Change the ambient light color to red.
Okay, I'm setting the interior.
Hey, look at that. See, this is actually a pretty useful voice assistant. I've been pretty happy about that. So we're going to continue on with the test and catch up with you at the end. And the other reason I'm still out doing this test is because we've got members-only tracks to listen to. So if you do want to see this Bang & Olufsen sound system in action, check the link below. I'll be recording these members-only tracks while we drive. But in the meantime, enjoy this time-lapse of the entire trip. Coming into the end of the highway fuel economy test here in the 25 Audi A5. Now, again, full disclosure, not a very clean run. Very, very hard rain there in the middle of it. So I'm going to be adding 15% to the total of the total pump calculation once we get in, because our fuel economy, according to the gauge readout, the dash readout, went all the way up to about 36, 37 or so near the beginning of the test, then plunged all the way down into the low 30s, and now it's come back up to 33. I reset it again 22 miles ago when the rain had kind of let up, and it's all the way up to 35. So it's clear that the rain was having a very negative effect. But on the positive side, we can for sure say that even in very unideal conditions, we're beating EPA. Because if I'm not mistaken, EPA is 31, 33, something like that. I need to check. But this seems to be doing quite a bit better. I'm sure that dual clutch having some benefit there, and pretty fuel efficient 2-liter turbo. In terms of the tack shot, we're looking just a hair under 2,000 RPM, cruising here at 71 miles per hour. Pretty typical. Seat comfort, pretty good. I was definitely dialed into the driving more so this time, so maybe paying a little less attention to the other aspects of the car. But you got your 4-way lumbar adjustment, decent support there, and I like the steering wheel layout with the multiple spokes, good places to rest your hand. Sound system, not super impressed with it, so that's a little disappointing. Again, check the links below for either the full sound test or the members only test to kind of get more of an impression there. But we're going to get this thing back to the pump, still using the same pump that we've started with, so I got to go back to this other gas station, fill it up, and crunch our final numbers. All fueled up, we put in a grand total of 3.021 gallons in here, and we traveled 97.8 miles. So 97.8 divided by 3.021 is giving us, all right, so a little bit lower than the vehicle's trip readout, actually, which is kind of interesting, 32 miles per gallon. But we are going to take that and multiply it by 1.15 to get 37 miles per gallon. That is what I'm going with here, foot in the sand, and I'm fairly confident in that because Car and Driver turned in a pretty optimistic result on their fuel economy test as well, which follows very similar protocol to ours. Now, theirs seemed particularly high, but 37 seems very realistic for this car, and still quite a bit better than that 31 MPG figure from the EPA. I don't understand how the EPA is getting such a low number for that, because when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's pretty low. I feel like a German sedan cruising at highway speeds will get much better than that, and sure enough, that's what we got here. 14.8 gallons in the tank times that 37 mile per gallon figure is giving you a healthy 540 miles of cruising range here in the A5. Now, again, not a perfect result. If we get another chance to test the A5 in the dry, I absolutely will. But I still think that 37 figure is going to give you pretty much what you're going to see, kind of real world cruising 70 miles per hour like this. Still doesn't quite get up there to the 330i from BMW, but still a pretty darn good figure. Just remember, you do have to put premium fuel in there, so it is going to hurt you a bit at the pump. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the all-new A5, check the link below for our full review. Big shout out to LaysFit for sponsoring the video, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.